Oh God, please tell me. Ah. Wait, why are we on it?
Yep, that's right. That's how I did it when I did it with Lori Langford.
You could see.
Everybody talks before it starts its own. Can you turn the volume on? It must be.
Can anybody hear me?
Darcy, we can see you and we can hear you.
Shar, are we on the right one?
This is Kim.
Oh, hey, Kim, you're on. Then we must be on the right one.
Yep. I hope
Perfect. So. Well, we'll hold tight and hope we are. I didn't expect to be seen. All right. And so with the record button up at the top. Nope, it looks like we're good. We'll just wait. And is everybody here on this with Shar Brown?
Hey everybody, we're gonna get started in a couple minutes. This is Russ. We're just
perfect.
Waiting on
we're in the right place. Hopefully we only see the speaker and not me.
This looks like the Brady Bunch to us right now.
I did not expect that. Okay, so we're good.
Awesome. Great to see all the wonderful faces on the Zoom tonight. Like I said, Shar be here in a second and we'll get this thing going.
Whether you want to be on it or not.
Oh, here we go. Okay, mute.
Hey guys.
Hello everybody. Ooh, we gotta adjust this light. That's kind of wicked.
Better lighting.
That was bad. How are you guys tonight? Oh, what is going on? Oh, I'm getting a notification about the Zoom. Do you hear it? Wait, listen for it. Okay. How is everyone? It is Wednesday, and we are super excited to get going here. It is 7 o'clock straight up, so we are going to get going. We are recording this, so after we get it recorded, I'll let you know where it's going to be posted. I am really excited about our special guest speaker that we have tonight. Our brilliant upline blue diamond, Lil Shepherd. I'm going to take just a few minutes to introduce Sweet Lil. He holds a very, very special place in my heart, and I got to use my magnolia oil to kind of get a handle on my emotions. Right? Magnolia, my favorite, one of my faves. I want to share my screen for just a second because I want to go back down memory lane just a little tiny bit. So we're going to do this real quick. Let me see. I got to get my screen share going up here. All right. Oops, I need my glasses. I can't see. All right. Where is my... I know, where is it? Where? Let's see, what is it showing? Is it going to show it? Let's see, is it doing it? Where's my frame? Ah. There we go.
Wow.
I'm not sure what this green box is in the middle, so we're going to move it out of the way. But can you guys all see this?
No, we did, but now it's gone.
Can you see it now? This is, okay, so I'm going to go through this little timeline story for you guys. This picture was taken on December 3rd of 2012. And my beautiful upline enroller, Rosalie Elliott, had taken me on an adventure to Salt Lake City, Utah. And she surprised me. I didn't even really understand what I was in for or what we were doing, but we went to Salt Lake and she was taking me on a tour of corporate. And we got to go visit with Lil. And she took me to Lil's house, and I think it was on a Sunday, and we spent the night and spent the whole afternoon with Lil's beautiful family, and her kids came over and her grandkids came over, and we had dinner, and it was so lovely. And the next morning, we all got up and got dressed, and Lil took us to corporate. It was beautiful. And we got to meet Emily, and when we were at Emily's in her office, we got invited to go to lunch. And it was so, when I look back at it now, it was so surreal to me that we got to do this. And so if you look from left to right, there's a Shar, right?
Gone, Shar.
What's that?
The picture's gone.
It's gone?
Yeah. Did anyone else see it? It was there for a moment.
No, it's not there. Let's see. Where did it go?
You got to share screen on, right?
Yeah, it's sharing the screen.
It was there for about 3 seconds.
Oh.
Let's try to get it up here.
Let me see if I can pull it up again. Is it there?
No, just
No.
a white bar.
That's so weird. It makes me so sad. What the heck?
Can anyone else see it?
No one else can see? Well, that's kind of not fun. That's kind of defeating my purpose. I'm kind of sad because I had this all planned out and all right, so I'm going to stop screen share. If it's not there, it's kind of silly. I suppose I could put it in the chat. Can I share a picture in there? I don't think so. All right, never mind. I'm just going to go back to the big screen. Okay. Anyway, so my first experience with Lil was that weekend when Rosalie took me on an adventure. I enrolled in September of 2012, and December 3rd of 2012, I found myself in doTERRA. And I really didn't know what I was doing or what I was in for, but that experience was what sealed the deal for me. And it was what made me so determined to know that doTERRA was where I was meant to be. I got to meet Lil, and I spent time with her and her beautiful family that week, and it was just amazing. And since then, Lil has been someone that I go to. I like to lean on Lil. She's got great insight. And so I've asked Lil to come and talk to all of you guys, and I just want her to share what she knows about doTERRA. She's been around from the very, very beginning, and it's very special. And so she is our upline, one of our upline Blue Diamond leaders, and just such a sweetheart. And so, Lil, will you take it from here? And then I'm going to make sure everyone is muted so that we can just listen to you.
Okay. Well, that was a very nice introduction. Thank you very much. I remember that visit as well, and I was a little bit like, oh no, they're going to be at my home. These friends that I barely know. I had met Rosalie earlier, but I was like, because at my house it's a little crazy. Probably at that time we had about 30 people for lunch for our Sunday dinner. Now we have about 42 or 45. So you should come back.
I would love to. Oh, darn it. Where's Will? Unmute.
Yep. Oh, there we go. All right. So yeah, we have about 40, 45 for Sunday dinner, and it's a little crazy, but we all love it and look forward to it. And so thank you for sharing that time with us, and hope that it was always good memories.
Absolutely.
So yeah, doTERRA is an amazing collection of relationships. That's how I like to think of it. And I get emotional. Where's my magnolia?
Me too, I know.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, is relationships and people. And because we have the opportunity to take someone's hand and drop the oil in the hand. You know, we don't just say, here, try this, and drop it. We literally take their hand and say, oh, may I share this drop of oil with you? And automatically they look into your eyes, and you can look into their heart and see that everyone is a good person, and see that most people nowadays, we're all so busy looking at our phone and busy and running, and that we don't take the time to actually touch someone and to be able to be touched back and to know that we really care about each other. It's not about selling someone a bottle of oils. It's about sharing something with them that is so precious that we know that people every day are praying for better health. They're praying for a way to help pay for their little ones' preschool, or their college for their older children, or maybe they have an elderly parent that they are helping, or maybe a neighbor who you're just fine what you have, but if you don't have enough to share and give, you can only take care of yourself. If you have more, you can share and give with others. And we have two choices. We can either pretend or think that we're shy, or that we don't have enough time, or there's all those things we can think of. But in all reality, I'm quite certain that we are supposed to love and share and care for each other. And doTERRA is the perfect avenue to being able to do that. And so in the beginning of doTERRA, as Shar said, I was there in the very beginning. My membership number is 3. Yeah.
So cool. I love that.
So Justin Harrison came to my home. Justin, as you know, is the master distributor for doTERRA. His number is 1. But he came to my home and said, Lil, there's a new oil company, and I'm going to be a distributor. And I said, well, have fun. I will never do that. Let me smell the oils, and wild orange and peppermint, frankincense. And I was like, oh my goodness, those are yummy, yummy oils. So I said, well, can you leave me a sample? And he said, no. He said, we don't have that many. I just wanted to come and share with you. And it was interesting, about almost 2 weeks later, my father had an accident. He kind of fell forward and caught himself, and gave himself a brain bleed in the back of his head. And he was 84. And the doctor said, well, he'll either, it's a slow brain bleed, so it'll either close up on its own, or he'll go into a coma and pass. And it took, about 7 days. And he got out of ICU and was doing amazing. And then my sister and I went to visit him one morning, and they pulled us in the side room before we got to his room and said, he's in a coma. And so we're like, ah. And so we decided to bring him home and let him pass where his family was. We had a large family, and with kids and grandkids, and his own siblings. He was the oldest of 10 children. And so just had a lot of people that would want to say goodbye to him, and we couldn't do that very well at the hospital. So we brought him home, and the doctor and hospice had prescribed for us to give him something called morphine. We all know what that is. And they said if he gets these pain lines across his forehead, we would need to give him the morphine. And if he got a fever, they handed us a bottle and it was suppositories and said that's the only thing that would get rid of the fever. Well, I said to my sister, I'm glad that you're the oldest, and I'm glad that you always wanted to be a nurse, because that's your job. I'm not going to do that. And so we went to bed that night, and we set our alarm clock. And every hour, I would get up, and then my sister would get up the next hour. Then I would get up, and then she would get up. So I got up at 2 a.m., and my father had the pain lines. And so I got the morphine and gave it to him. And when I pulled his lip out to put the morphine in, he had a fever. He was so hot to touch. And so I took his temperature under his armpit, and it was 102.7. And all I could remember was them telling me, if you don't get his fever down, he'll be very uncomfortable. And I'm like, okay, I don't want him to be uncomfortable, but I better go wake my sister up because I'm not going to do this. And I had learned a little bit about essential oils, but I'd never really used them. And I had shared them with my mom, who had passed a year and a half earlier. And I thought, I'm sure it was peppermint oil. They told me that if I put it on the bottom of feet and on the neck, that it would bring the fever down. So I went and rummaged through the medicine cabinet, and sure enough, there was a little bottle of peppermint. So put it on the bottom of his feet and on his neck and held his hand. And within less than 5 minutes, the fever went away. His body temperature dropped. And at first I thought, well, it's either the peppermint is working, or I told him, Dad, you better let this work because you're not going to like what we're going to do next. And so I was so grateful and went back to bed. And then my sister got up, and then I got up, and at 5 a.m. it was my sister's turn again. Well, I heard her getting in the morphine. It was a glass bottle, and with the metal spoon, it was like making this little dinging noise on the side of the morphine bottle. So I thought, oh, I wonder if he has the fever, or the pain lines, if he has the fever as well again. So I walked in the bedroom, and my sister was just white as a ghost. And I said, did he die? And she said, no, he has a fever. And I said, no worries, we have peppermint. She's like, what is that going to do? And so I told her what I had once heard, and that it worked. And so for the next 3 days, 3 nights, that's what we did every time he got a fever. And in that process, it's amazing sometimes how our friend above inspires us. And I kept getting these impressions throughout, before we prepared for the funeral, and after this, and during the service, after the service, that I needed to share with the world that experience, and that I needed to let people know that they do have choices, that they don't have to give their father a suppository. If I was a nurse maybe and could do that real easy, it would be no big deal.
Right.
But didn't want to go there.
Yeah, nobody wants to do that to their daddy.
No. And so I'm like, oh, I can't go do that. It's not my personality to go share and talk with the world about something that I know a little bit about, not a ton, a little tiny bit. And I kept getting the impression, no, you are going to go tell the world. And so I did. I didn't even call Justin, actually. He had left a few applications here because my daughter and my sister both said, well, maybe we want to join. And I'm like, okay, you can join if you want. So a few applications here, and I filled one out, and I actually faxed it. We don't, probably some young people are like, what is a fax machine?
Right.
Yeah, but I faxed my application to doTERRA, and that was history. Justin called me, was like, what are you doing? And of course they knew that my father had passed, and actually Justin and Emily, Dave Sterling, they came to my father's funeral. And anyway, I just became so passionate that I wanted my grandchildren and my children to learn how to care for themselves naturally. And there's many great things about modern medicine, but there's also an opportunity for us to understand and realize that we are responsible for our own health. Not my husband, not my mother, not my best friend, not even my doctor. I am. And it's the choices that I make, that how I care for myself, that are going to make me a healthier, happier person if I'm in charge. And so I took that leap of faith and followed the guidance from above. And I can tell you right now, doTERRA will be 11 years old in April. And I have well over 200 and close to 250,000 people on my team. And they're worldwide. And the best part of all of that, though, is I get to meet people like Shar and Russ that are marvelous people that just right down to their soul, to their core, are good people. And they are building a business not to make themselves look amazing, but to make other people happy and have what they need, that those things that people are praying for. And so I believe you probably have followed that same inspiration from above of this is what you can do to help other people. Mm-hmm. So I joined the forces of doTERRA, and I was amazed to find out that, you know, they had invested at first there were four owners. Now there are 7. As the first 2 years, they acquired 3 more owners. And it's great because those owners keep each other in check. But that first year or two, there were only the 4 owners, and they invested everything they had. They hawked their homes. They emptied their bank accounts, their 401k accounts, and they did not get a paycheck for, I'm not quite sure. I think it was like 16 or 17 months. And yet, as we started being distributors, we got a paycheck. And at first, of course, in fact, we were just talking about today, Justin said his first paycheck was $11. And I beat you, mine was 17. And then as time went on, you know, we got to where we were making 500 or 1,000 or 1,500 each month. It would grow a little bit. And Dave Sterling just would like bring his lunch, and he's just always such a humble guy. And Dr. Hill and Emily, they would say, well, what are you guys going to do for lunch? And we'd say, well, we're going to, you know, sometimes we bring our lunch, but sometimes we're just like, hey, we need to get out of the office. And so we would say to Dave and Dr. Hill and Emily, well, we'll buy your lunch if you come with us. They had no money. They did not have a spare dime. And so those were precious times, because I saw what the company was built on. And, you know, honest, good, hardworking people that put everything into what they thought to be good and right and true. And so it was great to watch them, and great to watch as one by one people came on board. And it's interesting, you know, my mother used to tell me, birds of a feather flock together. And I used to get so irritated with her, because she would say that to me when she didn't want me maybe hanging out with some of the girls or guys that I was hanging out with. And she would point out, well, do you want this in your life, or do you want that in your life? And I'd be like, I hate it when you say that to me. You know what you're supposed to do. And, you know, I've thought a few times the past few years, my mother, so emotional, I'm sorry. My mother would be very grateful for the flock that I'm hanging with, that people are good people. And so I'm, I don't know what we've got up there on this screen, but something. Shar, did you share your screen again?
No, I didn't. Let me see. You are viewing Pam's screen. Okay, let's see. There we go.
There
we go. I'm like, okay.
I know.
So everyone in doTERRA has that same heart and that same mission, and to be able to see the growth and see there's over 7 million wellness advocates now. And we grew and grew and grew, I think, to $1 billion company, and it took about 6 or 7 years. And then the last 3 years, we grew another $1 billion company. And so, and they expect now within just 2 years, we'll hit the next $1 billion. And so it's rapidly growing. And, you know, to know where we get our products from. And in the first 18 months or so, of course, they use the usual system of you go and find brokers to buy our essential oils. And that's what every oil company does, is they find brokers to go purchase oils from, which means doTERRA goes to a broker, the broker goes to the farms or the villages. And I think it was the second year of doTERRA, I learned that doTERRA was going to the villages, and that they were cutting out the brokers, they were cutting out the middleman. And yeah, absolutely. And by year 4, it was a done deal. And they won oil by one oil by one oil. And now I believe it's 75 to 80% of all of our oils are completely through us and the farmer or the village, not the middleman. And just as an example, just as an example, the in one case scenario, the middleman told the village people, if you provide me with, you know, this product, we will pay you $20 a bushel. And so they said, okay, we can do that. So they gathered everything and worked really hard and got what they were looking for and cleaned it. It was actually a vetiver root that they were cleaning, and just digging that stuff out, number one, and then cleaning it and making it all ready to be to be distilled is a huge project. And so they took it to them and they said, it's not worth $10 or $20, it's only worth $10 now. And they said, well, no, I take that back. They said, it's not worth $20 anymore. And they said, well, is it worth at least $10? And they said, no. They end up getting paid $2 for that bushel. And so doTERRA came on board and started talking to them, and that's when that story was relayed to them. And so they said, would you give us at least $10 for that bushel? And they said, no. And they said, well, 8? No. 6? No. We will guarantee you $20.
That's awesome. That's doTERRA.
Yeah, this is our quality. You have to meet these standards.
Yep.
But 100%, you know, $20 a bushel. And then the interesting thing is of course, what is a village people going to do with $20? They don't need $20. They need cows and chickens and goats and water systems and clinics and schools. And so, if they wanted some cash, you know, whatever they needed, fine. But doTERRA started the Healing Hands projects and started saying, we'll come into your village and do these things. And so my husband started going on Healing Hand projects. And I said, I'll just stay home, thank you. He went to Africa, and then he went to Guatemala and came home with amazing stories of these people and how hard they work and what it looked like. And so 2 years ago, he said, will you please go on a Healing Hands trip with me? And I'm like, oh, okay. So I went with him to Kenya. And wow, I mean, 100% amazing. Wow. To see what those people, what they do and how they live and how doTERRA is changing their life. And to see the particular village we went to, they're growing. First they had to clear all the land, this huge farm, and there were ant hills everywhere. And just like, it was a mess, and it was hard work, and it was all manual labor, like no piece of heavy equipment at all. And so they first had to prepare the land. They had to figure out how to collect water and how to figure out how to, disperse the water. And then when they have the big monsoon season, how to work around that. I mean, doTERRA's brought in these specialists from all over, a guy from Australia that had experience for years and years of how to work with the African seasons and, oh goodness. Anyway, so they were growing Melaleuca, and they were growing ginger. So while we were there, the Melaleuca was up just a little, about like, maybe 5-6 inches. But the ginger, they were just planting it. And the women were in beautiful colored dresses, working out barefoot in the fields, with, some of them had a baby strapped to their back, and bending over and planting the little ginger root. And for the doTERRA incentive trip a few years ago, we were allowed, it was in Jamaica. I don't know if you guys were there, Russ and Shar, but we planted ginger. And we did it for about 2 hours, and that was enough for me. And that's what they do, like between 5 and 7 days a week.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But they were smiling and happy. And then in a different part of that community, rather than the big farm, doTERRA went to the city there and said, if we lease this property and take good care of it, and we teach these people how to cultivate their property and how to plant and nurture and harvest these same 2 Melaleuca or ginger, would it be possible and then when they pay it, when they give us their product and we pay them, could we put that towards them buying that property? So they had 3 growing seasons in 1 year. And so they had 3 opportunities to learn and grow and be benefited with the monies. And so doTERRA gave them some of the cash, but they also kept a third if the people chose to. And in 2 years, they are able to literally buy that piece of land. And the interesting thing is their parents, nor their grandparents, nor their parents and grandparents for years and years and years and years back have ever owned a piece of land. Never, ever. They have been squatters, and they have worked if there was work to be done, but they've always worked for someone else, and they've never had their own. And they would go from place to place to place. And so they, like, you can't wipe the smiles off their faces.
I bet. That's amazing.
Yeah. And so now, when I pick up a bottle of ginger oil or a Melaleuca, and many other oils, Terry told me about the cardamom from Guatemala, and every single oil, I don't care, even if it's from America, where we have a lot of equipment, like the peppermints from Washington. It doesn't matter, but when that drop of oil comes out, to me, it's more than just a drop of oil. It's hard work, it's sacrifice. It's an opportunity for another, gosh, I'm so emotional, but for another mother to feed her children, and for a dad to have that great feeling of gratitude, and that I am providing for my family, because before they were living in cardboard or like tin shacks, and now they're building homes. And 2 of those little farms that we went to, that they were had started their own little ginger farm and Melaleuca farm. They had already started putting up wooden buildings with like a bedroom, 1 big bedroom for the mom and dad and 13 kids was in that 1 bedroom. And then another room that was like their kitchen, but it was like a real structure to them. And they also had a classroom that was outdoors. It was kind of like what we would maybe consider a lean-to, But they had these wooden desk things, and when we got there, actually the children were in there, their own children, these 13 kids. I think there were, maybe 7 or 8 there. And they came out and were like staring at us like, who are you and where did you guys come from? And so anyway, doTERRA is amazing, amazing. But I have to tell you, 2 years in to doTERRA, I went to something called Mastermind. Justin had invited me to go the year prior, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to go to that. He said, what is it about? And he said, people sharing from different companies. You can't share what your product is, but you can share how you are successful. And I'm like, I am not going to some meeting where a bunch of used car sales type people are there telling us their thing. And actually, he asked everyone on his front line, and every single person told him the same no. And I don't know what excuse they used, but that was mine. I'm like, no, I'm learning about oils. I'm not learning about company. And I also had a hang up about network marketing, because here in Utah, we have so many network marketing companies. In Utah, we work for those companies. We do not join those companies because distributors are like weird people, right?
Yeah, we are so weird.
Yeah, I don't want to be one of those people. So I said, no, thank you. Well, he went and he came back and he said, I bought you a ticket for next year. I'm like, oh, really? But then he started sharing with me some things about it. So I'm like, okay. Well, I went, and I had actually just hit the rank of diamond. And my good friend, Peggy Smith, who's cross-lined to me, she was a diamond also. And we both sat there, and this guy, named Art Jonak, stood up and he said, okay, and there were probably, I don't know, 200 people in the room at the time. And he said, okay, this is the deal. If your company doesn't have these 4 features in it, you need to go find a new company. And I remember Peggy and I looked at each other and thought, yikes. And like I had like that bad feeling in my gut of what is going to happen? What is this all about? And so and he wrote on like a kind of like a whiteboard thing. And the first thing he wrote up there was the owners of the company. And he said they have to be honest. They have to be educated. They have to have no plan to end the company and fill their pockets. They have to have the knowledge of, as you grow, how to grow. I mean, he just went on and on and on. And because I've known those 4 original owners for probably 5-6 years prior to doTERRA, I'm like, okay, they fit. That's good. That's good. So that's 1 out of the 4. The next thing he said was, the company has to be financially stable. And by that, he said, the owners have to pay themselves, not too much, but enough. They have to pay all of the overhead. They have to pay the employees. They have to give us, as the distributors, a fair compensation plan. They have to be able to, put money away on savings for rainy days, for something that comes up. It has to be all of these things, because if not, the company, if they paid, the owners paid themselves too much, or if they paid us too much, they didn't know what the compensation plan system, how, there's many compensation plans. So if that wasn't okay with the finances, the company is not good. It will go under sooner or later. And I'm like, okay, Dave Sterling, he actually was my boss at one point in a network marketing company that I worked at. And I've said this to him and in front of other people at events before. So he would say, look at me and say, oh, okay, Lil, you're going to talk about this now. But he is the most frugal guy I've ever met. And he's not a cheapskate. He is totally frugal, and he will not spend a dime unless it's for a good purpose, a good reason. And he is amazing, along with, the others. And I think some of the others don't have that talent and skill, but he keeps them in check.
Yeah.
Because everything has to go through him. And of course, now Corey Lindley is the CFO, and he's just like Dave. So we're covered. So I'm like, okay, check. And the third thing was the product. If your company didn't have a product that was beneficial, not just this week or next year or in 10 years, it has to be a product that, number one, you use, number two, that you love, and that number three, you know when you share it with someone else that it will be beneficial for them. You're not just selling fluff, that you are, as you build a business, you know that it's going to be so beneficial for anyone and everyone you connect with. And I'm like, check.
Yeah, check.
And so the fourth item was your community of what we call ourselves wellness advocates, or at the time we were, our names were independent product consultants, but your family of distributors had to have integrity. They had to be like-minded. They had to go with the flow and understand the company culture. And because I worked for network marketing companies, 3 different companies for 30 years. I worked at one company for 16 years, and that company is still strong and going really well. It's actually called Nature Sunshine Products. It's an herb supplement company. However, my daughter married the founder's son, and then my son-in-law became on my staff, and I'm like, yeah, this doesn't feel good. And so I actually left after 16 years, and he and my daughter have been married, 28 years now, I guess. So it was a good thing because he's there and I'm not, and we're all good. But and then 2 other companies, one of them was an oil company and another one was a green drink company. But what I saw in every single company was the distributors going like this with each other. And it was, this is my team, that's your team. Don't ask me my trade secrets. Don't ask me my secret sauce, because I'm gonna whip your butt. And you're not gonna win, I'm gonna win. And Dave Sterling from day one brought Justin on board. And then there were 3 people that Justin enrolled: myself, Teresa Harding, and Wendy James. And so we're all cross-line. And what Dave asked us to do was get together and figure out how to get the company started, how to share the products. And I thought, okay, this is different. Because I thought it would be me and Justin. And then I thought it would be Justin and Teresa and Justin and Wendy, because it was 3 separate teams. And no, it wasn't that at all. It was, you 3 go figure this out with Justin. And we didn't have any oils for the first 2 months.
Oh, wait. You had to do this and you didn't have a product to share?
No, only they could smell it, but nothing in my hand. But
wow.
I know, it was a crazy start, but we didn't have any product. We didn't have any PowerPoints. We didn't have any handouts. We had 0. And so the 4 of us got together and said, well, what are your strengths? What are your talents? What are your talents? We figured it out. And to this very day, Wendy and Teresa and Justin and I are still just like this. We're best friends. And we care about each other. We care about each other's teams. And as Justin brought more people on his front line to grow his position, we've included them. And as you know, the doTERRA culture is amazing. And
yes,
we help each other, we love each other, and we want everyone to win. And it doesn't matter if you come in, as you know, 82% of the people in doTERRA have never held a class and they've never enrolled anyone. They just want the product. And that is just fine, because somebody else has to do whatever else is needed in the world, right? Not everyone can be a wellness advocate that wants to share. But then that 18% of us that want to share, it's like, okay, how can we help each other? And even if someone comes to me or I ask someone, do you know about doTERRA? Well, yes, someone enrolled me, but I bought a kit and I don't know. I'm like, oh no, get that kit out. I'll help you. What oils do you have with you? And so we want to help each other. So as Art Jonak was explaining the number 4, Peggy and I looked at each other and check and high-fived and said, okay, we are the winner. And we saw people around us like, they weren't celebrating like we were. So doTERRA has something that's literally amazing, like 100% amazing. And right now we are the #1 network marketing company in the US with growth, and we are the #1 essential oil company in the US. Justin told me yesterday that we are #9 worldwide with the essential oil company.
Wow.
And so we're just, it's amazing, but it's the team of everyone. If I saw Dave Sterling in Brazil in October, no, it was November. It was the end of October in Brazil for the Brazil grand opening. And so I said to him, do you believe this? There were 1,800 people there at their very first event in Brazil at the grand opening.
Wow.
And, yeah, I'm like, do you believe this? And Brazil is a hard country to get into. And he's like, I really can't believe it, because do you know what happened? Before, when you want to say, let's go into a country, you have to go to that country's government and say, okay, we want to come and do business in your country, and you try and follow all of their rules and guidelines, and it's hard to get that approval. Well, the doTERRA office one day had some visitors, and they called Dave Sterling and said, there's some people at the front desk. They're from the Brazilian government. They would like to talk to you. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Send them up, I guess. And they had heard, because of our Healing Hand projects, that we, doTERRA, would go into third world countries and use all of their resources, or some of their resources, for our essential oils, but in return, we would help build schools and clinics and help villages and pay fairly. Because, you know, we use a lot of countries in South America. And so the word spread, and they came to us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we're able to get things set up and working extremely well. So, but I said to Dave, can you believe this is really happening? This is crazy, this is wonderful. And we had 2 exchange students that lived with us 20 years ago from Brazil, and we've stayed in touch with them, and they've visited us, and we had visited them. One's an eye surgeon, and the other one is an attorney. And the attorney had enrolled already and was, you know, excited. He has 2 little boys, and they love the oils. The eye surgeon, she said, well, I don't want to do anything with doTERRA, but I just want to be with you guys. So I'm coming to Sao Paulo and hang out with you. I'm like, okay. Well, dang it. After day 2, she's like, where do I sign up? Where do I? And she did. And so she has fallen in love with the company and the products, and she diffuses in her clinic now, and it's just great. So yeah, it's been a wonderful journey, and I know it's going to be a journey that way outlasts my lifetime. That millions and millions and millions of people will benefit because of people like you and the people on this call, and the people who will go share their heart, step out of their comfort zone, and go look at the new Empowered Success System and think, okay, well, there's this little brochure called the Live brochure. I live these products and this lifestyle, maybe I better pay attention to this. And then they say, oh, you know what? I need to share these products. And then they look at the share brochure and figure out, how do I start sharing? And some people really only want to make $50 or $250 a month or $500 a month. That's all they really care about. Enough to pay for their products and maybe pay for a preschool payment or a dance lesson or a guitar lesson or, you know, football registration for their kids. And then other people are like, no, I want to build this as a business. I want to do it as a career. And we just are happy and in love. And it doesn't matter where anyone's at, what they choose, but every tool that we have a lot of oils now, and we have a lot of PowerPoints. We have a lot of information to share. So whatever we want, the sky's the limit. It's all there and wonderful and beautiful. So
It is. Oh my gosh, I so appreciate everything that you've shared with us. And I think what was so good to have you share is, of course, the beginning, but the details that how we go into the countries and how we, harvest and distill and how we work with the growers. And I think that to me is one of my favorite parts. I was just in Arkansas last week and teaching classes to a whole bunch of new people, which I love. That's my passion. It lights me up. It rocks my world. And that was one of the things that I really focused on. And so it was really, it lifted my heart to hear you talk about that and give even more details. Now I have more ammunition. This is it.
Well, I can send you a few pictures if you would like.
I would love that. That would be so awesome. So good.
I will do that.
Wonderful.
Great.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing with us. And I want to encourage everyone who's on the call right now to stay on, because we're going to talk about a couple more things and then we're going to do a drawing. So I have a beautiful bottle of spearmint right here that we're going to do a little drawing for. So I want to encourage everyone to hang out, and we'll do that drawing towards the end. But thank you, Lil, so much for sharing with us. And be sure you give that Terry a big hug from Russ and I.
Yeah, say hi to Terry.
I will. I will.
Really appreciate you guys, and we're so grateful for you and the original people, the people that started the company. Because if it wasn't for you guys, then we wouldn't be here. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome, and thank you for trusting and coming and saying, "What is this?" All right. Thank you, and thanks to everyone. And let me know if you ever need anything. I'm happy to help wherever I can.
I appreciate you, Lil.
Thank you, Lil.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right, you guys. We just have a couple more things that we're going to talk about really quickly. What's really interesting. So if you guys wouldn't mind putting in the chat, what was your takeaway from Lil? I mean, I know her and I love her. I know her personally. She is just an amazing woman. But what was your takeaway from her presentation tonight? I'd like to know that. And then I'll tell you what mine was. My takeaway from that was that we all start in the same place with an $11 or $17 paycheck.
Or $2.96.
Yeah, our first check was $2.96. So, that was my big takeaway, that Justin and Lil and Peggy and all of these people that went before us, Teresa Harding, they all started the same way all of us did. Just so good, right? So that was my big takeaway. Honesty and genuineness from the owners on down. Yeah, Jen,
Amen.
Absolutely. And I'm telling you that when I went there and I met them, that was the game changer for me. That was what filled me up. I felt it, and I knew that it was the real deal. And that was when I went, all right, Char, done. I'm done. Done. And Rosalie came back to Colorado with me from that trip, and we held classes the following week. I think we did 4 classes in 6 days, kind of like what I did last week.
Only like 2 weeks later, Char got that $580 fast start.
Yeah, it was.
Check. I mean,
so that was my eye opener.
It was a big moment.
And so I'm so excited that Lil was willing to come on and share with us. I had such an amazing talk with her a couple of weeks ago. So let's see. Marcy says, I loved listening to how everything started. Me too. Right? Yeah. And your first paycheck, $11.60. We all start in the same place. We all have to put on the same tennis shoes and go, right? And so as we grow, our checks increase. Let's see here. Bobby Power says, doTERRA's field. Oh, whoops. Gosh, you guys are coming in so fast. doTERRA is filled with beautiful people with beautiful hearts. Absolutely. It is so spot on. It is one of the things that I love most about this company. Kathy Gladder, reaffirming what a great and honorable company doTERRA is and the privilege we have to be a part of it. Amen, sister. You are absolutely right. Brenna Gregg said, I love the team atmosphere from the beginning. Yeah.
Yep.
And that is, I'm telling you, that is one of the secrets that makes doTERRA successful over all of the other companies. We're all one big team. And when I say this all the time, kind of jokingly, but it's true, everybody in the pool, because when we help other people that aren't a part of us, we all benefit from that, right? So everybody in the pool, absolutely. 8 of us in Faith. Yes, we have Darcy Harper and her team in Faith, South Dakota, and they're at the library, and she's doing this in a conference room at the library on the big screen. Is that not awesome? Yay, go Darcy. That's awesome. So cool. Felicia says, my takeaway was the impact they made on the growers of these amazing oils and how it all comes full circle. Yep. It's just beautiful. I mean, no other company does this, you guys. No. And so when you're in a situation and you're trying to explain to people what is the doTERRA difference, do you think you could regurgitate just a tiny tad of what Lil just shared with us? Because that is what makes doTERRA different. That is the doTERRA difference. And I don't hesitate to share that. That's my thing. I love that she didn't know what oils were either. I love that, Karen.
Right?
Yep. And that's Lil, man. She's genuine, right? You absolutely hear.
doTERRA's mom at one time didn't know anything about essential oils.
And what's really even crazier is that she worked for another oil company for 16 years
right.
and really didn't care.
Yeah.
She didn't want anything to do with it. She said that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tom's was that doTERRA gave the growers $20 per bushel. Yep.
Right.
Yep. That's what doTERRA does. The company corporate is good. They have a heart that nobody else has. And what a great
and also that
team.
at times in different situations they knew that $20 or money or cash didn't mean anything to them, but livestock and grains and stuff like that.
Yep, I like to say in my classes they pay them in goats and chickens. It's the truth. They figure out what they need, because different countries have different cultures as far as food goes, and they give them what they need. And Jackie Williams says what doTERRA does over in other countries. Absolutely.
Yep, right.
It is one of my goals. It is on my list of things to do, to go on a sourcing trip. And actually, when I talked to Lil, when I called her to invite her to do this for us, that was one of the things that she kind of hard pressured me on. And Lil doesn't hard pressure a whole lot about anything, but that was one of the things. She was like, Char, you need to get your little butt on a sourcing trip. And I was like, I know. And I really want to go. I really do. It's on my list of things. So I've got to put a little check mark in that box. Do you have anything else that you want to see? Felicia says, me too. Guatemala is my dream. I'm with you, Felicia. I would go to Guatemala. I think I would like to go to Kenya now.
Sounds like it'd be fun,
It's kind of the average temperature in Kenya is 82 degrees. That's my thing. I think I could hang there, right?
Yeah.
And then I also think it would be really fun to go to Bulgaria.
Right.
I don't know why. Maybe it's just the name, but I know they grow lavender there, so that's kind of cool, right? That's my gateway drug, my gateway oil. Yeah, they do a lot of stuff in Bulgaria. So honestly, it probably wouldn't matter where I went. I just need to get my buns there, just like she said. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about, and I'm just going to put it out there. I don't know who has tickets. I have to find out. I suspect that Lil may, because she mentioned it. And I'm pretty sure that Betty buys tickets, and Betty's going to be our speaker in March. So Betty is going to be our headliner for our March call. Isn't that fun? We're going to have our presidential diamond on. So exciting. Anyway, so one of the things she talked about was Mastermind. And I'm going to tell you guys, I went to Mastermind with Rosalie and Marie Cottam, who's now a presidential diamond, in 2013.
Yeah.
It was November of 2013. And I had the same takeaways from that event that Lil had. They were so good. It was a game changer for me. It was one of the moments where Marie took Char by the shoulders like this. And she's speaking to me and she said, Char, you have everything you need to do this. You are a diamond. You just need to go do the work. And if you do the work, you're going to hit diamond. And darn if she wasn't right. 9 months later, we hit diamond. So I love Marie. She's one of my favorite people. She was actually my roommate. And every morning she woke me up to the beautiful worship song of 10,000 Hallelujahs. And she'd just be singing at the top of her lungs. That's one of my favorite songs still. And every time I hear it, I think about Marie. She's amazing. So Mastermind, Russ and I are going. We are going to be going. It is the weekend before Thanksgiving. They always do it that way, and it's tough because it's kind of an expensive time to fly. But I'm going to tell you that if you can spend the $200 to get your little buns there, it will be a game changer for you. Because like Lil said, it's a place that you go to learn from people who, Justin Harrison speaks at it all the time now. So he's a regular. Haley Hobson has spoken there. Betty spoke there last year. And the criteria to speak there is you have to be earning $1 million a year or more. And so those are the people that you hear from. They are the masters at network marketing. And if you have any hangups at all about network marketing, you need to go, because it will absolutely change your brain about it. These people are fantastic. So the guy who wrote Beach Money, he's one of the regular speakers. He's my favorite. What's his name?
Oh,
Randy Gage.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a really good experience. Eric Warre is another one who goes there. And so you get to hear from great speakers, and it's gender neutral. And what I mean by that is they're not talking about any specific company, because the rules of network marketing applies to everybody. You just have to go find the people, right? So it's really good because they take away all your excuses. You walk away from there with your heart full, your brain exploding, and then we're going to go to Disney World. So that's our plan. We're taking the babies, and we want to take everybody and go to that. So if you think that might be something you're interested in, let me know, and I will start combing our uplines to see who has tickets. So Russ is writing names down. So I need to know, Marcy, the names of the 8 people you've got there with you so we can put their names in the drawing. Darcy. What did I say?
You said Marcy.
Oh, dear. Sorry, Darcy, not Marcy. There's a Marcy on here. I know I saw her. I don't know. Maybe. Oh, yep, there she is. And sorry, guys. My brain is kind of mush. I'm still recovering from our whirlwind Arkansas trip from last week. That was amazing. It was so fun. It was just fantastic. I got to meet amazing people, which is why I love to travel. That's what I did. I met amazing people in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, right, Catherine? I've had some amazing, beautiful trips spending time with Kathy's team in Sioux Falls. And so this is what we're doing. So I'm doing Char's version of Diamond Club, and I will be traveling for probably a week out of every month to different places to build our team. So Arkansas was first. I'll be going back to Arkansas again in March. In February, I'm planning on going down to New Mexico, Texas. I'm going to do the Panhandle area. And then in April, where am I going? Oh, in April, I'm going to be heading to Washington State. I've got a new builder up there that I'm going to go launch. And then in May, I don't know if I've gotten it scheduled that far out again. I think I'm going to be in Texas and New Mexico again in July. So I've got to fill in May and June, and then August, and then in September, we'll be doing conventions.
Right.
So I'll be back in California, which we have people there too. So that's Char's version of Diamond Club. It's my happy place. It's where I get my, do you have everybody?
Did we get other people for Darcy, or does Darcy want to do a secondary?
Darcy, did you figure out, can you give me the names of all the people in the chat that you have with you? Oh, Faith, Heather, Jackie. He's right. He's trying to keep up with me.
Faith.
Heather, Jackie, Jessica, Leanne, Angel, Robin, and Tracy. I need to come back to Kansas. I do need to come back to Kansas, Jackie. I am overdue for Kansas again. It's
Okay.
been, I don't know, about a year, I think.
I got it.
Okay.
I'm gonna do that.
All right. So now he's going to cut up the little slips of
Do you
paper.
have anything else to go over?
Just you guys were the last couple of days of the month. So
Oh yeah, what's going on?
so we have the reactivation campaign that's still going. It's still live and active until the 31st. So you still have a couple of days to get
Well,
your
tomorrow.
people reactivated. Oh, tomorrow. Well,
Yeah.
there's still today. We still have like 4
Yeah,
hours left
right.
in today. So we have today and we have tomorrow. And get your enrollments in. And when they do 100 PV, they're going to receive a free Mandarin. And when they do 200, they're going to receive Mandarin and Serenity. So that's a really good thing. So go beat the bushes and see who you can get enrolled. What else? We have leadership retreat coming up in March, and Russ and I will be going to San Diego this year. So it's in San Diego or it's in Atlanta, Georgia. Brenna, where's Brenna? You need to, hi Brenna, I see your hand. You need to get to Silver, Brenna, because you could be going to leadership retreat right in your own backyard. How cool is that? And Brenna, if you get to Silver, I'll come. I don't have a Silver to go to leadership in Atlanta. So if you come, I'll have to go to 2.
You love Atlanta.
Yay! I love Atlanta. That's one of my favorite places.
Right? Yeah.
I love it. I get to go to my favorite church over there. Oh my goodness. I love Atlanta. All right. Are you done?
Well, lefty train.
Oh, poor Russ. He's left-handed. Here, you want me to do it?
Well,
And you can
almost.
chatter?
I'm almost done.
It's really painful. Have you guys ever watched a left-handed person cut with scissors? It's pretty painful. It really, truly is.
Back.
Yeah, he's making a mess. Is what he's doing. Okay. All right, so while he's finishing up, I have a couple of other fun things that I'm announcing. I know you guys just think I'm crazy, but I am. Simone will be there at San Diego. Yes, she will. I am looking forward to that. It's going to be awesome. Simone's doing her first leadership retreat in San Diego. Going to be so good. I have been in the process of putting together another website. And so our other 2 websites that I previously had done are going to be redirected to the charleneabrown.com website. That website that I'm doing has way more opportunity and potential in it. It's going to have the same password protected portal that the other one does, but I have a lot more capabilities to help you guys. So it's going to help all of you by me being able to offer regular events and send out emails to those events to those people. So as the events start going, they're going to have RSVPs on them, and when the person RSVPs, it puts them into my email contact list. And then every time I do a class that's affiliated with that tag, so let's suppose they sign up for an emotions class. Every time I do the emotions class, they will get an invite to that emotions event, or the Wealth and Wellness Wednesday. So this is the thing. We had to do this one as a one-off because it's not the usual day. So in March, it will go back to the first Wednesday, and I am in the process of creating the email invitation for that, and it will have the Zoom link in it, and you will get reminders that actually happen. It's really, really a super, super neat process. Now where are you going? Oh, you went to go get a hat. I would have just done it in the palm of my hand, but Russ wants a hat.
No. You gotta get the hat.
Oh, dear. Oh, no. Oh.
NFC conference champions, LA Rams. See that?
I'm sorry, you guys.
Go Rams.
I apologize. This is my life. All right, so he's putting all the names in. I'm going to send out this bottle of spearmint. Do you know why I chose spearmint?
Why?
Because spearmint is the oil that helps us with our voice. It helps us use our voice and be in our very best self. So it helps us just be more of who we really are and use our voice in a positive way. This is my thing. This is what I'm working on. I need it, Jan. I think we all need it. I think we all, oh, see, you've got somebody who says the Saints got robbed. It's okay, Christy Cartwright. The Patriots are going to take those little Rams down on Sunday.
Don't think so.
It's going to happen.
All right, guys.
All right. Spearmint so that we can find our voice, right? And I'm going to do the drawing. I've got my little hand in here. Let's see. Who's the lucky winner? Angel from Faith, South Dakota.
Yay.
I don't know if you can see it. Can you read that writing? Good night. Russ.
It's another lefty thing.
You guys, thank you so much for getting on here and giving Lil a good showing. Hi, Val. Mwah. She's in the bathroom. Oh, no, she's in the living room.
She's in the living room.
I thought you were hiding from the girls in the bathroom. Is that what moms do? I saw you on here. I'm so glad that you all joined. It makes my heart full and happy because I really wanted everyone to hear from Lil. She's just so special. And I appreciate all of you guys being here. And thank you for joining us. If you have any questions, let me know. And stay tuned for all of those RSVPs and super cool invitations that are going to be coming your way. Feel free to pass them along and hand them out. And I will see you guys all soon. Thank you again. I love you all.
Bye. Love you guys. Bye.